Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Saturday, August 15th, and I did not talk to you yesterday. What I am going to do today is give you a quick update to get everything to you. And those of you that want to stay around for a longer update, hang on and we'll get into it deep. Because, of course, as I said, Thursday I was going to Chicago, and I did. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about all the little things that went on that aren't relevant to who's where in the house at the moment after I tell you the basic update. So basic update, as I think I mentioned to you, there was a house flip of sorts in the potential voting on Thursday. And so going into it, we were fairly confident that if it was Haley versus Chuck, that Haley would stay and Chuck would get voted out, which was a reverse of what we were expecting. But then as it happened, Haley won the blockbuster, so she wasn't on an option. And it was Barrett versus Chuck, and the House voted whatever the number to one. Haley's the only one that voted to keep Chuck, and Chuck was evicted. All right, so that happened. You saw that on TV. What you then didn't see is had a household competition which took place later that same night. It was a New Year's Eve themed competition. We only know that because of the clothing they were wearing when the feeds came back. And like 1999 New Year's Eve, right? Going into 2000. Some others speculated a Y2K theme. Whatever it was. December 31st, 1999. We knew that because Melody was wearing glasses with the year 2000 on them. So that's why we knew that. So Yash is the winner of the head of household. So that's a big, huge move in theory, because Yash has been pushing to go after the icons, the three, big characters, Devins, Dee, and Angela. He and Latrice were kind of the leaders of that meeting last Sunday, where that seemed to be the discussion. So as it turned out, Yash was good to his word. So before I get to that, a couple of other things that happened before nominations on Friday. Latrice and Haley had a big fight. I'll talk about that more in a second. And then we had the power, right? It was the time capsule or the punishment. And the feeds went down for a long time, like at least 30, 35 minutes, it seemed like, Friday afternoon. And during that time, Melody got her punishment. So she got the vote, but she got a punishment. And she is the Lady of the Latrine, which is the Lord of the Latrine, which Derek had on his season of Big Brother, where he had to announce everybody going to the bathroom, right? So she's the Lady of the Latrine. She's doing the same thing. She only has to do it for 24 hours, so she'll be done about 2:30 today, Big Brother time. So it won't be long for her. It's enough to get get some clips, right, to show. Okay, whatever. I was hoping if it had to be a punishment, it was a unitard. They still have one more thing to go, whether it's a power or a punishment. And we're all guessing that it's going to be another power to even things out, just because it's been three punishments now and only 2 powers, which went to Dee and Devins, which is making everyone very suspicious of how this all works so well for the icons, as we call them. All right, so that happened, and then we got to Yash's nominations. Now, right after the feeds came back Thursday night, Yash was saying he was going to go after the icons, at least a couple. He also said that no male was going to see the block, no man was going to see the block. So take that for what it's worth. It's in some ways, but there's only 5 left, I think, and so there's part of the reason. It's like we can't lose any more guys because the ratio we could the guys may not have a chance, and that's the way some people play, and sometimes it's the way you need to play when you get alliances based on gender. And it happens. So, Yash was saying, and he stuck to it. I'm not even going to mess around. He said he was looking at Angela, Haley, and Dee. Now, I think at one point he was talking about Melody, maybe, or people were trying to change him around, but in the end, he did nominate Angela, Haley, and Dee, and they knew they were going to be nominated. He talked to them beforehand. We thought he might blindside them the way he talked at first, but then he turned around and warned them before the meeting. So, those are your nominees. Now, who is the target? It depends on who you ask and who Yash is talking to. I would say I just know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, right? Because Yash doesn't control the vote. Yash only, in theory, Yash only controls who is on the block if they don't win the power veto, or if a power isn't played. We'll talk about that more in the longer part of this podcast. But I would say that his target could very well be in Angela or Dee. But I could also see him eventually saying, no, you know what, I want to get rid of Ashley. So it could go any way. It all comes down to power veto, which is going to get played today. Later today, the power veto, and that will be a determining factor on a lot of things. Like if Devins uses his power, could depend on that. Because Dee here's another thing that happened, because I was going to leave it at nominations, but that's true. Dee also tried to bribe Yash, and Devins also talked to Yash about, kind of revealed to Yash that he had a power, and he could did he tell Yash he had a power? He did not tell Yash he had a power. He told Yash that he would volunteer to go up in place of Dee, knowing that he had the power. He knows he had the power, but Yash doesn't. And then, of course, he would take himself off. See, Devins wants to play his power before it's useless, and it's useless after next week. Next week will be the last time he could use it. This week or next week. So a lot has gone on, but that's where things stand as of right now. Dee, Angela, and Haley are nominated. We have the power veto today, and we'll just see what happens. I'll talk to you guys. I'm not leaving, by the way. I'm just wrapping this short part up. So I'll talk to you more about that stuff tomorrow. Now, so you guys that just want a quick update, there's your 7-minute update. Go on your way. Thank you for listening. For the rest of you, thanks for staying. Let's talk about everything else that went on. So, and including my personal stuff. So I went up to Chicago, and I'm hearing about these updates, by the way. I'm hearing that Diaz decided to flip the house. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to have it, it's going to be wild. Excuse me. I get up to Chicago. This is like the bar, it's Old Crow Smokehouse. It is about a block from the stadium, from Wrigley Field. I did not go up to the stairs. I don't know if they can see the park or not. I don't know how it works. I thought at first they talked about rooftop viewing, but I'm like, they're not across the street from the stadium. They're around the corner. So maybe you can see the back of Wrigley you can maybe see a patch of grass if it's high enough of the field, but wasn't there for that. I was there to watch to watch the live show, to hang out with some other Big Brother fans, and to meet Ashley, and they accomplished all of those things. So one of the people that I met when I went to the Traders premiere party that I went to last February, whenever it was, her name's Mare, and she's gone to the Smokehouse every, I think, all but one Thursday night, and Ashley's is going there every night, or every Thursday night, and so she and I met, along with some other friends of hers who are all Big Brother fans. Very nice group of people. We had a good time talking and watching the show. Ashley showed up probably like a half an hour before the show started. And I don't know if we talked to her before the show or not. I think it was a very, very brief conversation before the show. We talked to her for quite a bit after the show. So we watched the show live. I need to watch it again because, frankly, I couldn't hear anything that was going on. There was so much. It's hard to hear stuff like that in a live environment. And so I did not catch a lot of the things, but we knew what was going to happen. I really was just there to see how the blockbuster went and see the reaction to the vote, right? These are things that we care about. And so I saw all that. The crowd reacted, all of that stuff. And so we saw the show ended. Again, I'm sitting talking with these folks. All these people are good. We're talking about, a couple of them play a lot of live reality games. Some of them played orgs, which is online reality games. And, you know, it was just fun. It was fun. A couple of them actually knew the name BB Gossip, which is always fun. One of the guys, I don't know if he's serious or not. I always question this. He seemed very impressed, like he knew who I was, but I don't know. I just kind of take that with a grain of salt. It's kind of wild when somebody does that. It's flattering in some ways, and the other ways is like, okay, are they making fun of me or are they serious? I don't know. So, but he was very nice. We had a good talk. A lot of people were piling up to talk to Ashley, and Ashley was giving everybody lots of time. Unlike in New York, where it was, it's so crowded, you walk up and you say hi and nice to meet you, and you get about 30 seconds of a house guest time on average. Not, again, when I was in New York, I had long conversations with several house guests over the course of the evening, but some house guests you can only talk to for like 30 seconds and get a picture. Ashley was giving lots of time with everybody, which meant we stood around for a while to wait to talk to her. But when she did talk to us, actually as a whole group, we kind of stood in a circle and talked to her about Big Brother. I am hesitant to talk about the things that we talked about, only because I don't want to put words in Ashley's mouth and say, Ashley said this, when I don't know what, I don't want to misquote her. I will say this, and I think she'd be fine if I said this. She did talk about the being on the show, and first of all, she did apply, and I think I remembered that, but she applied for the show. She was not a recruit, and she was just like, you guys know how many recruits there are? There's hardly any real fans in the house. It's like having Ashley tell us that is like, okay, Ashley, but she's like, yeah, I applied, and I think I knew that. But she's quite into the show. She's watching it, and she talked about the Rome and Lyric romance, and I will just say that she slept in the pod directly under them. So she was not happy with some of the shenanigans that were going on in the pod directly above her while she was there. Not happy, not in a mean way, but in a, oh my gosh, guys, kind of a thing. She also talked about the first HOH competition, and she said when the dinosaur came out, they didn't know it was going to happen. It was totally unexpected, and it chased Rachel around. She made it sound like it went just like it was on the show. And she ran up to the top of the volcano, and she said it was Rachel that fell into the volcano. So she did her own stunts, it sounded like. And this is the one part that I'm sorry for the cough. This is the one part I wasn't sure I was going to do, but you know what? I'm going to throw it out there. But understand this is me retelling. So if I don't get it exactly right, please don't hold it against Ashley. But she said that after Rachel fell into the volcano, that Angela was kind of celebrating and happy that Rachel was gone. Like Angela, I don't know. I'm interpreting this, so it may not be exact, but it was almost like, it sounded to me like she was saying Angela was happy not to have another Big Brother person in the house, so she was very happy to see her gone. But she's celebrating this, and Rachel's still laying in the volcano just nearby. So we didn't see that. I assume that it's accurate. I don't think Ashley was just telling the story for our ears. But if Ashley ever says, no, that didn't happen, well, then she was telling a story for our ears, and it was amusing and hilarious. And if it's true, it's amusing and hilarious. So she told us lots of other little tidbits and pieces, and it's always funny when she isn't a hardcore fan, right? And so there is some humor to the fact, because we did say, someone said, when was the first time you ever watched Big Brother? And she's like, I can't remember. I just remember as a little kid running in and thinking it was cool as my parents were watching it, kind of a thing. And so she was, she's not a super hardcore fan, but she was aware of the show and everything. But it's kind of funny when someone like that starts telling us how the game's played in almost like a surprise way. Like, did you guys know this? And then we're all kind of like, yeah, we knew that. Not in a mean way, but just fun. So again, Ashley was great. I may go back up to Chicago again for another watch, because I think there's going to be people there every time. If you are in the Chicagoland area, you should check it out. Now, if you're in the Chicagoland area, you probably know how it works, but I will give one other little note, and I realize this is very specific, but I'm a 2-hour drive from I was a 2-hour drive to get there, a little bit longer to get there. It was about a 2-hour drive to get home. Coming in at 4/5 o'clock on a weekday means you're just in for just crazy traffic. The good thing is, though, I got there, I parked at like 5:50 p.m. Was it 5:50? I think it was 5:50. I think it was right before 6. So I got there about 2 hours before the show. And parking is free on the side streets in that area after 6. So it didn't cost me anything to park. It actually cost me like 30 cents because I parked a couple minutes early. But, there's a bonus. I was expecting to have to pay like $20 or $10 or $15 to park for the show. So I didn't have to do that. So it's a good time. You should check it out if you can. It is always fun to meet these house guests. And Ashley is like all the other ones I met. Very friendly, very outgoing. And just, yeah, it's cool. So there was that. So back to the actual show. So that was Thursday night. I have still not watched Thursday night, rewatched it. So I can't talk about little bits and pieces. And part of me wants to, because there was something that Chuck said that some of the people could hear and got a big reaction. And I haven't gone back to figure it out when he was talking to Julie. But what did happen on the actual house was Friday morning. It kicked off. I was up early. I was up early as the house guests got up. And the first thing I see is Lala and Haley talking. And I could tell I didn't have their feed, the volume up, but I could tell it was like, wait a minute, something's going on. And I switched over, and they are fighting. Fighting in a, talking, I want to say aggressively, but kind of arguing, right? Not yelling, but just having a loud disagreement. And the whole gist of it was, from what I can tell, is that Latrice was mad. Well, I think Latrice was still mad that Haley was not gone. And I guess the night before, Latrice had been kind of saying things under her breath. She had this big fan. I don't know if she had it out on the show or not, but she apparently was waving her fan around and saying things. All kinds of things that Haley felt were directed towards her. And based on how she was treated the entire previous week and had been, nominated by Latrice, she was not happy with Latrice. Now, understand, this all started because Latrice went up to Haley Friday morning and was apologizing for some of the things that had gone on the week before. And Haley's attitude right then and there was, it's too late. Everybody else has come up and apologized for you. So, it's kind of too late for this now. Now it's, now you're coming to me, but you didn't, apologize to me before. So, yeah. There was nothing that Latrice could say that was going to make Haley happy. Because Latrice did say, I'm sorry. And Haley's just like, yeah, apology not accepted. You bullied me. You were mean to me. Everybody else agrees that you were mean to me, to which not everybody necessarily said that. Some people say, well, I can see how she could feel that way. It was quite awkward. And from a TV viewing perspective of a live reality show, it was entertaining. It is what it is. The drama is always fun to watch. But yeah, the word bully was thrown around quite a bit. And this went on for about half an hour. I did go back and post the entire incident between Haley and Latrice, as well as then Angela talking to Latrice and Angela talking to Haley. The gist, and this is Dingo, aka Hamster Watch. She also, part of her take on it, and it's probably accurate, was the underlying undercurrent of this also was Haley and Latrice both mad that Angela is being nice to both of them, right? The other. So Angela was being nice and talkative to Haley, and Angela was being nice and talkative to Latrice, and neither of them appreciated that treatment of the other and was mad. And so Angela kind of got dragged into the middle of it, like, well, what do you think, Angela? And she was expected to, pick a side in such a way, and it kind of bothered her, upset her, and so she was mad, right? So it was quite the morning in the house, and then that moved on to just a general uncomfortableness. Dee and Yash having his house meetings, and he was at first really talking like he wasn't gonna. He's like, well, Dee's like, well, you're gonna I appreciate you letting me know if you're gonna, nominate me, and he's like, yeah. And people thought, oh, he's not going to tell her, but he did. And of course, he told Devins what he was going to do, because he's in an alliance with Devins. He's also in the Wolfpack alliance with Dee. So, but he's in the I can't think of all the different names. He's in an alliance specifically with is it Drew and Camu and Devin? I can't remember who all's in it, and it frankly doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter. But Devins, so Yash told Devins told Dee that she looked like she was going to go up. So Dee already kind of knew it, and he eventually did tell her she was going to go up. And when he told her, and we knew this was going to happen because she said it was going to, and we were waiting for it, calmly waiting for it to happen, Dee did go up, and she did reveal her bride power. Now, remember, she's revealed it to Devins, she's revealed it to Camu, and she revealed it to Yash, and said, I have a power, and I'm offering you $5,000 to not put me on the block. Now, she initially said she was going to offer him $5,000 and naming who she wanted him to put on and everything. I don't know if she did that. We don't know for sure, but she did offer him the $5,000 bribe, and guess what? He turned it down, which is what I thought would happen. So he ain't taking $5,000. Now, some people said that Yash has enough money personally that's not enough to sway his opinion. That's not life-changing money for him, so he wasn't going to take it. I didn't think it was worth it. It's not worth $5,000 to change it. Plus, now Dee has revealed that she got a power, which she lied about. She never said she had it. So, if you were Yash, you're like, well, you weren't close enough to tell me you had a power until you needed me not to do something. So he didn't say anything. I'm just saying that's what my thought process would be. So now Yash knows that she had a power. Yash, in turn, told Devins that she has a power. So there you go. I said, after she did this, now this is going to show us who Yash is close to, because Yash is going to reveal people that he trusts about what Dee did. Dee had a power. So Yash has revealed it to Devins. I don't know if Yash revealed it to anybody else. I don't know if Drew or Barrett have gotten word, and I would be interested to see if Barrett gets word, how he takes that information. But at this point, I don't know how close Yash feels to Barrett, because Barrett is actually a potential renom for Yash if somebody uses the power veto on Monday. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But let's get on to the other stuff. So we know now that Dee has tried to bribe Yash. Yash has said no. The other thing we then find out, Devins has said, he said this a 3 days ago, I am going to use my power. Remember, he has the diamond power veto. I am going to use my power and not just let it expire. Even if it's bad for my game, I'm going to do it. So this is the point where Devins is like, well, maybe, and he says this to Kamu first. He says, maybe I'll talk to Yash before nominations, and I will suggest to him that he put me up against, to make it easier for him and not alienate people like D, that he put me up instead of D, because they're in the Wolfpack together. And then, but he also put me up against like Melody and Angela. I think in Angela. People that he knows he can beat in the power of veto competition. This is all his play, because then he would actually end up using his diamond power veto. Now, I guess he said, I didn't see this part, but I'm trusting the other online sources, that he said he would give Yash a heads up that, hey, I do have this power and I'm going to play it, but, we're going to put up people and we're going to get rid of, I think, Haley. Maybe Haley or Angela. I'm not sure which way he was going to go. I can't even remember. But, because, so that's, the way to get him to use the power and to keep D off the block, all of those things. D and Barrett both. Did he tell Barrett he had it? No, he told Barrett he was thinking of volunteering. Barrett doesn't know he have the power. D and Devins talked later, and D said, "Don't do it. We can unless we can make this work. You don't go to Yash and make the offer. Don't use his power. Don't go to Yash and make the offer." But Devins did go to Yash and tell him he wanted to volunteer. Not that he had a power. He told him he wanted to volunteer, and Yash was like, "No, we're not going to do that." Yada yada, and kind of backed it back out of there. Devins tried several times yesterday to keep D safe, and I think Yash noticed it. Yash just knows that there's a relationship between D and Devins that they aren't revealing, and so I do believe that Yash's serious target is D. I don't think D will be on the block come Thursday. I do think Devins will use his diamond power veto unless D wins the power veto today. On that note, Cam talked and said last night, I'm not going to gun for the power veto unless Haley has a shot to win it. If Haley doesn't have a shot to win it, I am going to. Now, that's great, right? We don't know what the competition is going to be. If it's a time thing, they won't have any way of knowing what the other person's doing. So she's going to have to try her best. And I think in the end, she will try her best, because I just think the natural instincts will come out. Unless it's a face-to-face, if it's a face-to-face competition and she knows Haley's out of it, I could see her throwing it, knowing that Devin could use his power. But I don't know if it's going to be a face-to-face competition, right? So that's where things kind of stand. I think I covered most of it. A lot happened. But it's been a good 48 hours again. Sorry I didn't do a podcast yesterday. I just kept looking and thinking, I'll do it after this. I'll do it after this. I'll do it after this. I was like, now it's so late, I might as well just do it tomorrow. So that's what's up. It's been a good 48 hours. I am off to play in a golf thing, scramble golf thing, and I will let you guys know. And I may have done this. I don't know if I did it this same time of year a few years ago. I've never played golf, other than I've hit a golf ball once. I will not be able to say that anymore after today, probably. Depends on the weather. I was just driving, up until 5 minutes ago, I've been driving in rain this whole time. I still have about 45 minutes to go, and I'm driving out away from the weather, so we'll see. But other than putt-putt, I've never hit a golf ball but once, and I wasn't happy with my hit. I sliced it terribly, and after that I was like, I don't need to do this. So I won't be able to say that anymore. I feel bad for my partner, but he's a college friend, and he knows that I haven't played golf, and he still wants me to come, so we'll see. We'll let you know how it goes maybe tomorrow, or maybe tonight when I'm driving home. We'll see. All right, that's what I got. I hope you have a good Saturday. I will let you know tomorrow how things shape up, and we'll see if D wins the power veto or what. That's what I got. All right? Talk to you guys later. Thank you all for your support. As always, thank you to my patrons. I need to give my patrons another shout out. I am due. So maybe we'll do that in the very near future. Talk to you guys later. Be well. Bye-bye.